And no one, I mean no one, is paying to see Angel Reese attempt to play basketball. Hell, not even Mama Reese is paying to watch this lack of...
The WNBA cannot afford to ignore the picture painted by the numbers, which are unmistakable. When Caitlin Clark strained her left quadriceps on May 25, 2025, the league's economy was devastated. The ramifications were immediate. Players like Angel Reese and the struggling Chicago Sky are forced to face an uncomfortable reality about star power in professional women's basketball as Clark gets ready to miss at least 2 weeks of action. The stark contrast between her magnetic appeal and the rest of the league has become unavoidable.
You can't tell me that the Caitlin Clark effect isn't real. You knew when news broke yesterday that Caitlin Clark was going to be out for a few weeks, that ticket prices were going to go down, but I never expected them to go down 71% for the rivalry game.
The WNBA's carefully crafted economic momentum collapsed like a house of cards as soon as word leaked out of Clark's injury. The cost of tickets for the Indiana Fever games fell by an astounding 42%, falling overnight from an average of $1,370 to only $80. This wasn't a market correction or a slow decline. When fans realized this, they realized right once that the product wasn't worth the same price without Clark.
Indiana Fever ticket prices to games over the next 2 weeks have dropped 42% since Caitlin Clark's injury announcement. An average ticket price of $137, all the way down to $80. People are selling their tickets, definitely can't get face value, so what do? They just continue to lower and lower and lower and lower and lower the price.
The Chicago, who had rescheduled their game against the Fever for June 7th. From the 10,387-seat Winrust Arena to the enormous 21,000-seat United Center, ticket prices skyrocketed in order to accommodate the expected Clark crowds. As word of Clark's absence circulated, the get-in ticket for what was meant to be a major fight fell from $86 to only $25. The financial consequences were harsh and quick for a team that had made a large investment in relocating to a bigger location.
Came to the United Center, the home of the Chicago Bulls and the largest arena in the NBA, expecting a marquee matchup between Clark and Sky forward Angel Reese. Now here's where it gets sweet, all right? It gets real interesting right here. However, uncertainty looms as ticket prices for the game have plummeted dramatically following Clark's injury announcement. Oh my goodness. Since it became likely she will miss the June 7th game, ticket prices have dropped a staggering 71%. Oh my goodness. Following from an entry price of $86 to just $25 according to Tick.
This economic collapse brings to light a basic reality that many WNBA players have been reluctant to accept. Not all of the league's stars share in its present success. Despite the attention and recognition that athletes like Angel Reese have received, the financial data shows a clear hierarchy of drawing power that puts Clark in a class by herself. Clark's distinct place in the women's basketball scene is further highlighted by the television viewership figures. During the regular season, games involving Clark and the Indiana Fever drew an average of 1.178 million viewers, almost double the attendance of other WNBA games, which averaged around 394,000 views. This is neither a tiny advantage or a small difference. The attractiveness of sports broadcasting has completely changed as a result.
I told you earlier, these WNBA franchises that moved games like the Chicago Sky to the United Arena, you're screwed. You're done. You're cooked. Nobody is going to show up to this thing. Chicago Sky can't sell out their own 9,000 something seat arena like it is. They couldn't when they were kind of decent. They're a dumpster fire now. And now that Caitlin Clark is injured, the ticket prices for the Fever and Sky game just plummeted to Hades.
If you're having fun, please subscribe. The Chicago Sky vs. Fever game on May 17, 2025, was a prime example of this occurrence, With a viewership of 2.7 million, the game became the most viewed NBA regular season game in 25 years. With 3.1 million viewers at its height, the show showed that Clark's popularity might attract casual sports fans who might not otherwise pay attention to women's basketball. The fact that this one game attracted more viewers than other playoff series from prior seasons highlights how much of an influence Clark had on the league's television output. The data gets much more remarkable when we look at the larger trend. Of the 24 WNBA broadcasts that attracted at least in the 2024 season, 21 starred Caitlin Clark and had 1 million viewers. This indicates that a single player's presence was necessary for almost 90% of the league's most popular broadcast events. The Indiana Fever were a part of all 3 of the games that drew over 20,000 spectators, solidifying Clark's position as the league's main attraction.
We know that wherever she goes, she's selling out arenas. The ticket prices skyrocket. Like, even trying to get tickets to Carver Hawkeye Arena when they played the Brazilian national team at her old school was just insane prices. If she's going on the road, wherever she's going, ticket sales jumped by 140%. Average is $312. Like, that's crazy.
Although Clark's departure is felt by the WNBA as a whole, the Chicago Sky are the team that most captures the brutal realities of star power. The Sky, who are currently sitting at 0-4 to begin the 2025 season, are in the awkward position of having lost while their purported opponent keeps making headlines despite the injury report. Angel Reese, who has been Clark's major opponent since their college days, must continue to be relevant for a team that has had trouble defining itself on the floor. The Sky's recent performance is a sharp departure from their expectations, and their failure to win has come at the same time much less enthusiasm from media sources and fans alike. When looking at the cost of tickets for Sky games across their schedule, the difference is even more noticeable. The team's normal games at Winrest Arena are now offered for as little as $170 for certain matchups, whereas the United Center games against Indiana attract premium pricing because of Clark's anticipated attendance. In the absence of major attractions, this pricing structure represents the market's candid evaluation of drawing power and entertainment value.
The WNBA will be reliant on their other stars to maintain the interest of the mainstream. With Angel Reese being the only player with mainstream name recognition, most of the pressure, it is going to be on her to perform. And we have plenty of evidence that proves Angel Reese is not qualified to carry the...
The Sky struggles are more than just victories and defeats. Their 0-4 start has aligned with a more comprehensive narrative on the team's identity and direction. The Sky must rely entirely on their on-court product to spark excitement in the absence of the assured attention that comes with playing Clark. Additionally, an early return indicates that the product isn't strong enough to sustain the high levels of interest the franchise had during periods of intense competition. According to a thorough economic research, during her rookie season, Caitlin Clark was in charge of an incredible 26.5% of all WNBA economic activity. According to projections, Clark might make about $875 by 2025 million. These figures are not theoretical or speculative. They are predicated on quantifiable rises in attendance, TV income, item sales, and general economic activity in the cities where the Fever play takes place.
Caitlin Clark could be projected to be $1 billion revenue maker for the WNBA this year. Now, obviously, the WNBA won't see that money, won't see most of that money, and it's not just in the WNBA, but it's all of her sponsorships, it's all of her appearances, it's all that stuff. But according to the projections, we're looking at $875 million could easily eclipse $1 billion on her economic impact. Caitlin Clark entering the league last year was responsible for 26.5% of all of their economic activity. So revenue from merchandise, which again, with the CBA as it is currently, she doesn't see a dime of any of that. TV, and then ticket sales, obviously, which again, they don't.
This analysis is validated in real time by the market's rapid response to Clark's injury. It shows that Clark's value is not only academic but also real and measurable when ticket prices fall by 42% within hours after an injury news. The WNBA has largely based its present business model on the popularity of a single player, which has led to both extraordinary opportunity and high risk. This billion-dollar impact goes beyond just showing up to the game. The league's apparel sales have increased by more than 500% as a result of Clark's participation. Fanatics reports that Dick's Sporting Goods saw a 233% increase in WNBA sales between 2023 and 2024, mostly as a result of Clark's appeal. These figures reflect underlying changes in consumer spending and behavior rather than the brief upticks that one might anticipate from a novelty effect.
People might be saying, oh, well, the teams aren't really going to suffer. They already sold the tickets. No. You don't understand. If the Chicago Sky moved into the United Center, and let's say resale-wise, they sold all 19,000, well, when only 9 to 10,000 show up, they're losing merchandise sales, they're losing food sales, they're losing beverage sales. They're losing big. They took a big gamble to get into that arena, and they're losing big because it's not going to be full, and those people aren't going to be buying things.
The WNBA is given a clear warning about the brittleness of its recent success by the current circumstances. The league's reliance on a single player has been made clear by Clark's injury in ways that should worry players, team owners, and executives alike. The WNBA's expansion is real and significant, but it is concentrated rather than widely dispersed, as evidenced by the sudden decline in interest, ticket prices, and expected viewership. In and of itself, this star power concentration isn't always harmful. Transcendent players who generate disproportionate attention have been a staple of many prosperous sports leagues. However, because Clark is still in the early stages of her professional career, the WNBA's current state is especially vulnerable and has already sustained her first serious wound. The league's inability to maintain engagement levels without her participation shows that efforts to produce and promote other stars have not yet reached the level necessary to continue the current momentum. The trend established during Clark's college career should have provided more warning indicators for league officials. Even though the next games had fascinating plotlines and other talented players, attendance drastically decreased when Clark was eliminated from the 2024 WNBA playoffs. Although acceptable, the 929,000 viewers for the Las Vegas Aces vs. New York Liberty's semifinal matchup was a significant drop from the 1.8 million viewers that saw Clark's playoff debut.
The ticket prices. This does not shock me at all. What did I say earlier? The WNBA was about to F around and find out, and these rival teams were going to be in a lot of trouble. Well, they're finding out. Kathy Engelbert, WNBA, you better start putting some respect on Fever fans' names, Caitlin Clark's name. Otherwise, this league, we got to remember, they lost $40 million still last year. All right? They're getting a new media rights deal. That thing won't be worth shit. If Caitlin Clark was to either get really injured and couldn't play, or decided to just say, I'm not going to play here anymore, I'm going overseas.
The Indiana Fever and its direct rivals are not the only team affected by Clark's absence. The whole WNBA ecosystem is impacted. Clark's attractiveness has shaped television networks' programming plans, and her injury necessitates a reevaluation of marketing initiatives and expectations. After making significant investments in WNBA merchandise partners now have to negotiate a market where the main source of revenue is momentarily unavailable. Clark's injury offers the league's other players both opportunities and challenges. On the one hand, her absence makes room for other celebrities to shine and show off their own allure. However, the sudden decline in general interest raises the possibility that the casual fans Clark attracted to the sport may not stick around, participated without her. The circumstance also emphasizes how crucial player health and injury avoidance are in a league where individual players have such a big financial impact. When a single player's availability affects league-wide income and attention levels, the WNBA's medical staff, training methods, and game management strategies all become even more crucial.
Jerseys, the number 22, the various styles, whether it's a t-shirt with 22, whether it's an Iowa jersey, whether it's a Fever jersey, a throwback, whatever. The amount of people in yellow 22 apparel is stunning. It is more than Peyton Manning ever had leading the Colts to a Super Bowl. It's more than Reggie, more than anybody I've ever seen. I've never seen anything like it. But now she's not going to play. So I'm curious, are we going to have sellout crowds? Are the Pacers going to draw the attention nationally when they play the Sky or the Liberty or the Sun or whoever?
As Clark prepares to return, the WNBA needs to consider a number of important issues regarding its future growth. Whether it is viable to rely so heavily on individual star power or whether effort should be directed toward creating broader, more spread appeal among several players and clubs must be addressed in the league's expansion strategy. The current state of affairs also calls into question the concentration of talent and the balance of competition. The ability of the Indiana Fever to select a substantial competitive edge that goes well beyond basketball performance has been established by Clark and the people who surround her. Now, other brands need to think about how to cultivate their own stars and craft gripping stories that can draw in fans in an entertainment market that is getting more and more congested. The task for Angel Reese and the Chicago Sky is obvious. They need to figure out how to spark curiosity and enthusiasm without mentioning Clark. Instead of depending on rivalry dynamics that need Clark's presence to have the biggest impact, they should concentrate on winning games, building strong team chemistry, and crafting their own story.
Angel Reese and the WNBA have been using race to bring awareness to an incredibly bad product. Once you remove Caitlin Clark from the equation, there's no reason for people to watch this league, which is why people haven't been watching Angel Reese throughout her career.
The most unsettling realization brought to light by Clark's injury is that, despite its remarkable and genuine recent expansion, the WNBA is still vulnerable and focused. The league has successfully raised its visibility, expanded its financial streams, and drawn in new supporters. However, the presence and performance of a single individual are disproportionately linked to these improvements. This fact does not take away from other players' successes or imply that the WNBA is untalented or unentertaining. It does, however, draw attention to Clark's distinct status in the sport's contemporary context and the obligation this places on the league and Clark to safeguard and utilize this asset.
Without the NBA giving their yearly donation, this league would have folded years ago. And that's the part that bothers me about the organization, the owners, the players. This inflated ego, thinking, oh, we built this. You didn't build nothing. You're just getting by the NBA charity check. And with this mentality, they have these inflated egos and they're stuck in their ways. They think their way is the right way. This is going to be successful and failed for decades. Finally, a player that's worth paying the money for, Caitlin Clark, comes along. What do, WNBA? You beat her up. You treat her like crap. You treat her like she's dog doo-doo.
The WNBA's level of support and the enduring strength of its recently acquired fan base will be put to the test in the upcoming weeks. If viewing and attendance remain good during Clark's absence, it will show that the league has successfully converted casual interest into widespread basketball enthusiasm. It will be confirmed that the WNBA's growth is still mostly reliant on its brightest star if the statistics drastically drop. One thing is clear as the league moves through this difficult time. Caitlin Clark's impact on women's professional basketball extends far beyond statistics and awards. She is now largely responsible for the WNBA's present success as an economic engine, and her brief absence acts as an alert to the potential threats to the league's future as well as the opportunities it presents.